Welcome. This video scribe is a short animated reminder of some of the concepts and techniques that my colleague Dean Tuckey and I spoke about at the recent HR breakfast you attended. And if you weren't at the breakfast, that's okay too. You might find something to interest you anyway. Now you may remember that our opening scene showed me being about as bad a manager as humanly possible, which then allowed us, of course, to discuss some ideas and methods that might help my character. And, combined with your own feedback and suggestions, we then tried the scene again near the end of the seminar. Now, I don't intend to enumerate all my mistakes again, and I'm sure they were quite obvious to you anyway, but what I'd like to do now is just quickly summarise some of the more positive aspects of that last and hopefully more successful scene. Firstly, I kept the results model in mind. Here it is, and in essence what it illustrates is very simple. It's cause and effect. The result you get in any situation is dependent on how you feel, think, act, and behave within that situation. The results you get aren't a matter of chance. They're a matter of choices you make every day. How we behave in a given situation is strongly influenced by our emotional response, along with our thoughts and beliefs about the event. If we can manage our emotional response, our prefrontal cortex has the opportunity to make rational decisions, problem solve, and select the best course of action in the given circumstances. Secondly, I took notice of my emotional temperature. Once my emotional temperature gets elevated, I go limbic. Remember the amygdala hijack. Right, and a fight or flight reaction doesn't make it easier for me to use my prefrontal cortex and problem solve. So, I used some strategies to moderate both my own and Dean's character's emotional temperature. These included some environmental factors, like how I set up the meeting space, I offered him a drink, I gave him a chair, and so on. I also made vocal and body language choices, and thought about other physical factors like breathing, stretching, exercising, my emotional awareness, etc. I also tried to use some mental strategies like interesting and third umpire to try and gain some objectivity. Thirdly, I tried to be aware of the concept of patternicity, our inherited natural tendency to catastrophize in the absence of sufficient information, which you probably remember as Dean's Wilma and Fred story, and by the scene we did set late on Friday afternoon. And so I made sure my character supplied as much detail as possible. Fourthly, in preparing for the meeting, I thought about the concepts of permission and placement. I requested the meeting rather than demanded it. I considered whether the timing of the meeting was appropriate. Could it wait till Monday? And where was the best place to hold it? Fifthly, in discussing the issue, I kept the SCARF model in mind. Now, the SCARF model suggests people respond negatively to perceived or subliminal threats to their status, my relative importance, certainty, my ability to predict events, autonomy, my level of control over events, relatedness, whether you are like or unlike me, and fairness, whether I feel I am being treated justly. Finally, we discussed how not to get shot, with reference to some of your own horror stories or problem children. We touched on topics including status relationships, tools to manage your own and others' emotions, and some of the profiling and typology tools that can be tailored to suit your specific requirements. Well, that's it. I hope this has been a useful follow-up. You can, of course, contact Dean or myself if there's anything you'd like more information on. We had a lot of fun at the breakfast, and I hope you enjoyed it too. And maybe we'll see you at the next one.